There was a season in my life when I genuinely believed I was doing everything I could to become more disciplined. I blamed myself for my inconsistency and wondered why I couldn't seem to follow through. Every morning, I would wake up full of good intentions. I would write long to do lists, very long lists. Laundry, go to the market, attend rehearsal, create content, work online, reply messages, read my Bible, exercise. By the time I finished writing the list, I already felt productive. Then I would tell myself today will be different. Today I will get everything done. But something strange kept happening. Instead of starting with the most important task, I would begin with the easiest one. Maybe laundry, maybe organizing my room, maybe replying messages, maybe scrolling for just a few minutes. One small distraction would lead to another. Before I knew it, hours had passed. Then, when it was time to finally work on the things that actually mattered, creating content, studying, doing meaningful work, I was mentally exhausted. So I would tell myself, I would do it tomorrow. Tomorrow became the next day. The next day became next week. And before long, I found myself living in a circle of procrastination. I wasn't avoiding work because I didn't care. I was avoiding my priorities because I had spent my energy on everything else. That pattern frustrated me. I kept asking God, Lord, why do I keep doing this? During my quiet time, I began sensing the same instruction over and over again. Not an audible voice, not something dramatic, just a quiet conviction. The message was always the same: focus on one thing. At first, I resisted it because my mind kept saying, but Lord, I have so many responsibilities. How can I focus on one thing when I have 10 things to do? Yet the instruction never changed. Focus on one thing. Choose what matters most. Give it your best attention. Then move to the next thing. Eventually, I decided to obey. Instead of trying to finish everything, I started asking God, what is the most important assignment you have given to me today? Everything began to change, not overnight, but day by day. And days later, when I started studying neuroscience, I discovered that God had been teaching me a principle my brain was designed to follow all along. I began studying discipline and neuroscience. Science was describing a principle that God had already been teaching me. One of the chemicals involved is dopamine. Many people call it the feel-good chemical. But that's only part of the story. Dopamine also plays an important role in motivation, attention, learning, and the anticipation of reward. Your brain naturally pays attention to whatever promises the quickest reward. That's why checking your phone often feels easier than studying. That's why scrolling can feel more appealing than creating content. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your life. It's trying to conserve effort and seek immediate rewards. The problem is that if we always follow what feels easiest, we slowly train our minds to avoid what matters most. That's exactly what I was doing. I wasn't beginning with my highest priority. I was beginning with whatever felt easiest. And by the time I got to the important work, I had already spent my energy. That's why God's instruction to focus on one thing changed my life. When I gave my full attention to the most important task first, I wasn't just changing my schedule, I was restraining my mind. And that's what discipline really is. Discipline is training yourself to choose purpose over preference, to do what matters most before doing what feels easiest. Long before neuroscience explained these ideas, God had already revealed them in His Word. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Notice that transformation begins with the mind, because the way we think eventually shapes the way we live. God isn't calling us to a scattered life. He's calling us to intentional living. So what does this look like in everyday life? Here's what's helped me. First, I pray before I plan. Before writing your to-do list, ask God what is the most important thing He wants you to accomplish for that day. Secondly, choose one main priority. You may have many responsibilities, but identify the one task that would make the biggest difference if completed today. Protect that priority. Thirdly, reduce distractions. Silence unnecessary notifications. Put your phone away if possible. If you must use it, activate a system that blocks distracting apps. Fourthly, do the important work before chasing easy rewards. Finish what matters first, then enjoy your rest. Train your brain to associate satisfaction with completion, not procrastination. Finally, celebrate consistency, not perfection. You won't get every day right, neither do I. But every small act of faithfulness is shaping the person you are becoming. Small steps, repeated consistently, produce lasting transformation. And I did like to invite you to join me in a simple challenge. For the next 21 days, begin each morning with prayer. Ask God, what is today's most important assignment? Then write down one priority and focus on completing it before anything else. Just one. Complete it before giving your attention to unnecessary distractions. At the end of the day, thank God for helping you stay faithful. Don't worry about doing everything perfectly. Focus on being consistent. One focused day, repeated over and over again, can change your entire life. Guess what? I'm still learning and I'm still growing. I'm still asking God to help me renew my mind every day. But one thing has changed. I no longer measure my days by how busy it was. I measure them by whether I gave my attention to what mattered most. My dear, don't ever give up. Maybe you don't need more motivation. Maybe you need to be more focused. One prayer, one priority, one faithful decision every day, because a focused mind becomes a disciplined mind, and a disciplined mind surrendered to God can become a transformed life. And if this message encouraged you, I did like to hear from you. And don't forget to leave a comment saying, I choose one thing. I would love to hear your commitment. God bless you.